You are now tuning into the Resilient Podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Resilient Podcast. This is episode number 14. I am your host, Rob Aurelius, and on this episode, I'm going to talk about mourning what could have been and finding resilience in the month of November. This month holds special meaning to me. And I just wanted to let you all know that for this month, there will be 3 episodes coming up of the Resilient Podcast. I remember I mentioned to you all before that there's a possibility that I will probably give you 3 episodes in 1 month. So this is going to be that month where I'm going to give you all 3 episodes. So there's going to be this one, which is episode 14. Episode 15 will be the following week. And then at the end of the month, episode 16 as well. So that means that by the time December comes, episode 17 will be available. Isn't that crazy? I started this podcast in April. And by the end of the month, we will be at episode 16. So, like I mentioned before, and, folks, it's the month of November, so happy new month. This month, I am reflecting on Men's Health Month, and I do plan to have a conversation about men's health a little later on in this episode. But overall, I want to talk about men's health in general. But I want to let you all know that this month, like I mentioned before, holds special meaning for me. With 3 episodes coming up, including one featuring a guest for men's mental health and men's health, which will bring insight into men's mental health and resilience. I want to talk to you guys about why this month is important. This month, November, is both my ex-girlfriend's birthday. She is a Scorpio. And the month where I had planned to propose to her. So I want to share a little about why I choose this time to reflect on these memories. Because, last month, the last day of the month was Halloween. And, I had posted a picture on social media where I posted it I didn't post it exactly on Halloween, but I posted it a little bit after Halloween. And I said, a year ago today, I wore matching pajamas for the first time with someone. And this is a memory that I'm going to hold dear and near forever. And the matching pajama was from the Ghostface from the Scream movie. So I had the mask, I had some pajamas that I had bought from, I think, that website that's called Spirit Halloween. And, you know, I was able to keep that stuff because it was mine. I had bought one for her and then one for me, and I bought two pairs of the screen masks. And I was able to take home my screen mask, thankfully, and I was able to take my pajamas as well too. The reason why there's significance that I hold with it is because the second time we wore matching pajamas was for Christmas, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to take those pajamas home from Philadelphia, where she lives. So she may have thrown those pajamas away. I wish I could have kept them because, again, it's the first time that I wore matching pajamas on Christmas as well too, with a significant other. But getting back to Halloween, this year's Halloween was so different. You know, it was so quiet for me. I worked. I was in New York, and the Halloween from last year, 2023, I didn't work. I was in Conshohocken, in Philadelphia, and I had such a good time. And we watched a Halloween movie. We had a lot of snacks. We had some good food. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I think we had I remember now. So we had went to this supermarket that they have in Philadelphia, and we had gotten some chicken, we had gotten some veggies and stuff like that. And it was just a good time. Her favorite holiday is Halloween. And from the beginning, when I met her, we talked about Halloween so much. And all I kept thinking to myself was, by the time Halloween comes, we have to celebrate this holiday, which the way I want to celebrate it is in a way where she could always remember it. And what I thought was going to be one of many turned out to just be one of one. And hopefully, if, because it was her favorite holiday, when it came up, she could have thought about it and said, oh, well, last year's Halloween, he got a hotel room just for us, we decorated it together and whatnot. There's a possibility that this Halloween she spent it with someone else, or she spent it alone, who knows. But yeah, Halloween was just very quiet for me, and it didn't even feel like Halloween. And also, I was just sad. I was sad because I said, well, tomorrow is going to be November 1st. And then, her birthday will be a few weeks after that. And then, unfortunately, the date of me proposing to her is coming up as well, too. And you got to understand something, folks. It's the month of November 2024. This month, I was supposed to be doing so much because I was finalizing by probably the end of October. I was going to be finalizing everything, as far as the flights to Vegas. The hotel was going to be paid for, and I was going to arrange to have her family be a part of that as well too. And if her family was not able to do it, it was just going to be me and her. But I was going to arrange to have her family come down to Las Vegas with us, just so that they could see that moment when I proposed to her. So, I'm reflecting on how things were last year. After Halloween, I was getting ready for her birthday, and there was just a lot of planning, and there was so much more that I wanted to do for her birthday, and I didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do for her birthday, but at least I try to make her birthday, you know, um, as special as possible. And I remember that we had a conversation about something. Something had happened, and I remember she was upset, not at me, but she was upset at something. And I was trying to talk to her and tell her, look, I just want you to like calm down. And I mentioned this before in one of the episodes where I said that I had listened to this voice message. Actually, it was a voice recording of our conversation, and the way I responded to her a year ago when we had that conversation, and the way I felt like I should respond now is completely different. And I just wish that I could have been a little bit more supportive. Every time that she was upset, instead of me getting upset at her for being upset, I just wish I just wish that I was just much more supportive and try to at least make her feel better. You know, when people are upset and they come to you or they're venting to you or they're explaining to you, you should become a safe space for them. You shouldn't make someone feel like they regret sharing with you what happened to them or why they're upset or what happened. They should want to talk to you about something, you know? So I want to talk about the weight of November. November brings a lot of emotions for me, marking both loss and reflection. I want to open up about how anniversaries or significant dates can trigger both fond memories and a sense of loss. I want to talk about how I navigate feelings that come up around these dates and what I've learned from revisiting this past. So remember when I went back down to Philadelphia for August 18th, which is the day that I met her? I did that because I wanted to relive everything in the sense of going down to Philadelphia, walking down the street where I met her for the first time, and she came with her car, and you know, she parked on a street sidewalk, and that's where she met me because I had already been walking around in the area and there was so much traffic. And I remember it was like a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday. And um, you know, she was annoyed that there was so much traffic, but she finally found a spot to park. And when I walked down, that's where I met her for the first time. And you know, she was in her car. I was standing on the sidewalk. And then she asked me to get in her car, and then we took off to the destinations that we went to. So, you know, we call things like that take a walk down memory lane. And, you know, had I known a year later that all these dates that were coming up, she was not going to be by my side, I wasn't prepared for that. So, you know, August 18th was the day that I met her. She was not by my side. And I had no idea where she was, what she was doing. Then September came, and you know, I remember September, the first week of September last year was like Labor Day weekend was the first time she had came to Brooklyn. And that date came by, and I remember she came to Brooklyn. I took her to a very nice place where called 8-Bit, where we had some chicken, burgers, shakes, and she was playing video games. One of my favorite moments and times with her, one of my favorite memories with her. And then, you know, she met my mom that same day. And then after that, we got some stuff that we needed and we took off and we had a little staycation in Jersey. And then at the end of September, I thought about the Global Citizens Festival and how I didn't go to the Global Citizen Festival this year and how everything played out, because I said, you know, had I gone to the Global Citizen Festival this year, I would have been so sad because I would have been thinking about her. Um, then, October came by, and like I said, in October, um, her and I went to a place where I had tried Korean barbecue for the first time. So when that date came up, I was sad because I was like, oh man, a year ago I had Korean barbecue. And then, of course, now in November, her birthday's coming up, her 31st birthday. And I'm like, I'm nowhere near her life. And I remember giving her birthday card last year where I said that, first birthday celebrating with her. And I looked forward to as many birthdays as possible. And, I have no idea what she's doing this year for her birthday. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to be nowhere near her. I'm not allowed nowhere near her. And I'm not saying this because she said it, but I haven't spoken to her in. So this month will make 9 months since we broke up, but it will be 8 months in total since I've heard from her. It's been 8 months where I haven't heard a single word from her. Nothing. No phone calls, no text messages, no response to my emails that I've sent her. Nothing. So I have to get through, what is it? 3 days this month, which actually 4. Thanksgiving's gonna come up. And last year I spent Thanksgiving with her. It was my first and only Thanksgiving with her. And it was the first Thanksgiving that I had spent out of New York, I believe, as an adult. And her mother cooked for me. I had such great food. The 19th, because it's her birthday. The 20th, which was supposed to be the proposal date. And then the 21st of November will mark 9 months since we broke up. So, this is going to be probably a very sensitive episode. I could feel it. But let's talk about mourning the loss of the relationship. Mourning a relationship is complex, often involving a lot more than just saying goodbye to someone. I didn't get the chance to say goodbye to her because the last conversation we had, I pretty much said, listen, I filled out something that was sent to me about you. And she was like, oh, you didn't have to. And that was the last thing she said to me. Like, we had a conversation before that, but the last thing she said to me was, you didn't have to. And then she never said anything to me after that. I did say something to her after that. And I spoke about, like, I had said something to her, like, I have filled it out already before I even told you about it. And it was something that I wanted to talk to her about because it was during the time that I was getting ready to go to Philadelphia for WrestleMania. So the last time we spoke the last time we had a conversation was in the middle of April, and that was it. So, like I said, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her. And had I known that we were not going to speak again, I would have said goodbye. But here's the thing. Remember the letter that I told you guys that I wrote to her, like the card? I did bid farewell to her on that card. So maybe she read that. And maybe she ultimately said, okay, he gave me this card. I read it. I think it's over. Like, he's never going to talk to me again, or I'm not going to talk to him again after this. So this is what mourning looks like. mourning isn't just about grieving the person, but also the future you envisioned with them. I envisioned the most beautiful future with this woman. And all I've done is reflect on how letting go of shared dreams, future plans, and routines have been part of the process during this healing of the breakup. The stages of the mourning of this relationship have been denial, sadness, anger, acceptance, and the process of letting go. And the truth is, I don't know if I am letting go, but when I speak to my therapist and when I speak to people and they ask me, where are you with this? I say to them, I'm taking it day by day. That's pretty much all I can say. See, for me, moments of anger, which I was angry a lot during this healing process, and I feel like sometimes I still get angry. Moments of anger were part of the process, but so was eventually finding acceptance and understanding, which I've done during this healing process. The reason why I created the Resilient Podcast is because I wanted to turn the pain into purpose. The loss of this relationship has helped me build resilience and has become a source of growth for me. Had I not created this podcast, I wouldn't be able to, find resilience, So I've been embracing growth through this loss. This journey has inspired me so much. It's inspired personal growth, resilience, and even the creation of the Resilient Podcast, like I just mentioned. And I didn't know that I had it in me, but here we are. Here I am, 14 episodes in, and it's crazy how now I think to myself, in order to heal, you have to let go. So letting go to heal, it's like, wow, even without closure, I'm going to have to heal because I feel like I never got closure. And, I feel like I've never found closure. And I feel that I have to find peace within myself. If her and I had one more conversation, if she had reached out to me at some point, this year and said, hey, just checking on you, or I saw your emails or whatever the case may be, which she never did, I think it would have helped. But, she's doing she's living her life. She's moved on. I have no idea where she is. I have no idea what she's doing. I have no idea where she's at in her life. But all I can hope is that she is living her dreams and that she's doing what she wanted when, before we broke up, that career change that she wanted. I hope that mentally she's doing great. I hope that her relationship with her mom has gotten better. Her relationship overall with everyone that's a part of her life has gotten better. I hope that she's been able to talk to her dad. You know, when we started dating, she said to me that she, not that she hated her dad, but she said that, her dad really disappointed her. And I remember when I first started dating her, one of the first things I said to myself was, let me see if I can find this guy and tell him everything. Because sometimes if another person, especially someone that you don't even know, someone you've never met, reaches out to you and says, hey, I need to talk to you and I need to tell you about your children and how you've made them feel over the last few years and how they feel about you. It could go two ways. Either this guy could be like, oh my God, really? Okay, I'm open to talking to them. Or he could just be like, oh, I don't care. Don't contact me ever again. And this is how much I loved her. And I don't like saying the word loved because I still love her. But at the time, this is how much I cared about her. And this is how much I loved her. I was willing to at some point reach out to her dad if I was able to do that. Because I had found his page on social media. And I was going to say, I was going to introduce myself and be like, I am so and so. I've been with her for quite some time. And I just hope that someday you and her can speak. And maybe someday she could get that closure. Or maybe they could bury the hatchet and reconcile and, he could be a part of her life. Even though I thought to myself a few times, like, hey, it's not your place. Sometimes doing things like that is being a little extra, but like I said before, it's how I felt about her. I felt so passionate. But I learned that sometimes letting go isn't about closure or waiting for answers, but rather choosing to give yourself peace and move forward. This is not how I planned my year 2024. But the way I want to end it is I want to find peace. I can't end the year without peace. How am I going to start the new year with positivity if I can't find peace? It's been difficult. This is probably one of the most, even though I'm speaking, this is probably one of the most quietest episodes that I've had. And, folks, bear with me, but, I just wish that I could reach out to her and say happy birthday when her birthday comes up. But on the next day, the 20th, knowing that I'm not proposing to her, it's killing me, folks. It really is. It's killing me. I've never proposed to a woman before. I've always thought about who would it be, where, and when. And I was going to propose to someone for the first time this year at the age of 38 in Las Vegas. So I'm just still processing that. So, I did mention earlier in this episode that it is Men's Health Month. And I want to talk to you guys about what's coming up. And I did mention a guest, so I will be bringing on a special guest later this month to discuss mental health, men's health in general, and resilience. We're going to talk about the importance of men's health in general, like, especially in dealing with difficult emotions like grief, loss, and self-identity. And I believe I will have this guest for the next episode, which will be episode 15. And it'll be a surprise. Someone very special. So, folks, I want to apologize in advance if this episode is so quiet and so sad and so like down. But August is always going to be a difficult month for me moving forward, and November will be filled with difficult memories, but it also will be a reminder of how much I've grown and the resilience that I've built. Like I said, I just have to get through this year. And then, once the year is over, once Christmas comes, I'll be reflecting again because I spent Christmas with her last year. The first Christmas that I spent someone in like 3 years, because for 3 years I spent Christmas alone. And then I finally got the chance to spend Christmas with someone, and it was her. And it was in her new apartment in Philadelphia. And that day, a lot happened emotionally for me. And the next day, when I brought it up to her attention, is what ultimately led to us breaking up eventually. And then New Year's, I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know who I will be with. If I will be surrounded by friends, families, or loved ones. Maybe I should spend this year by myself. Just like I did last year, even though her and I were together. But maybe I should spend this year by myself just so I could reflect a little more. Right? At least that's how I feel. And then the next date that's going to matter is February 13th, which is the day before Valentine's Day. It was the last time that I saw her. So it will make a year since the last time I saw her. And then March will come along and it will make a year since we broke up. Remember how excited I was to celebrate a year with her, and all I was able to do was be with her for 6 months. So I didn't get a chance to do a year with her, but I will be doing a year without her. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy how life works. But like they say, so much can happen in a year, right? So before I wrap up, before I go, I just wanted to thank you all for tuning into the Resilient Podcast. And I want to let you all know that mourning relationships and what they meant is part of growing. These episodes for this month are all about resilience in different forms. So stay with me as we dive into these topics. I also wanted to mention that I was looking forward to the Yankees winning the World Series because I felt that the Yankees were being very resilient. But the Yankees unfortunately didn't win, and it's okay. I was heartbroken. I was sad, but at the same time, I said to myself, "Look, the Dodgers were from Brooklyn, and I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, so I was like, I'm okay with it." Even though they're in LA right now, I like LA. I love California. San Francisco's my favorite place outside of, the East Coast. So, also, folks, I don't want to get into this topic, but we see who's already been elected for the next president of the United States. And all I can say is when they start in January, I just hope that America goes in the right direction. That's all I'm going to say about that. Politics is a very sensitive topic to talk about, and I'm not going to get into it. And I'm not going to say who I voted for or whatever the case may be. But all I'm going to say is congratulations. Please take America where it needs to be. And speaking about that, I wanted to share with you all one last thing. And it was what I said last month in October when I was going through certain things. And, there was this person that I was very close with. This is somebody that I reconnected with last year. And unfortunately, I decided to distance myself from this person because where I want to go in life doesn't align with where this person wants to go in life. And I'm on this journey of beginning to love myself more. And because of that, I have to do certain things to get there. And I can't get there if I am going to be held back. So I wrote this very nice message, and I'm going to share it with you all. I posted it on social media. And I said, you know what, let me share this on the podcast because it's important for people to see what I wrote. I'm pulling it up right now. Give me a second, folks. It's something that I just felt that I needed to write. And I hope that you guys love it after I finish reading it to you. And if it can motivate someone, if it can inspire someone, great. So here we are. At this point in my life, with all due respect, I've decided that I can no longer tolerate certain energies or perspectives. The path I'm on is focused on greatness, positivity, love, abundance, joy, resilience, and decency. This year has been one of the most eye-opening years for me. And I've been very vocal about it, whether here on the Resilient Podcast or through my social media platforms. I've come to some important realization that as adults, we must stop making excuses for not knowing right from wrong. I believe in love and kindness. When I say love somebody today, I mean it. But here's the truth. You can love people from a distance. That's where I'm at right now. And that's okay. Some paths no longer align with mine. And that's not a bad thing. It's part of life. Not everyone is meant to walk with me on this journey. And I'm good with that. I choose to surround myself with people who think the way I do, people who strive for the best, who value growth, and who want more from life. I appreciate diverse opinions and healthy challenges, but I no longer have space for those stuck in toxic mindsets, nor do I have room for misogyny, racism, bigotry, negativity, hate, and division. If I can't trust someone around my family, my future significant other, my future wife at that, or my future children, they simply can't be a part of my life. This is a boundary I need to honor for myself and for the future I'm building. I've had people walk away from me before when they realized I didn't fit in their picture. And I respected that. And I reserve the same right for myself. If I decide to distance myself from certain individuals, whether family, friends, or even business connections, it's not personal. It's just that I know where I'm headed. And if I allow the wrong energies around me, I'll never get where I need to be. This is the season of clarity, and my priorities are set. I'm ready for the life I'm creating, and that requires protecting my peace and being intentional about who I allow into my space. Much love to everyone, but from now on, only those who align with my values will have access to my energy. So that's what I wrote last month. I wanted to end the podcast on a positive note. So I wanted to say that my message to the world is very simple. Let's embrace authenticity, empathy, and genuine relationships. That's my message to the world. So I will see you all on episode 15. And I want to thank you all again for tuning in. And remember, folks, one life to live. Live it well. I am Rob Aurelius. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you for the next episode. Peace.